Hey, so it's the next day or whatever, or like a month later. I don't know. It's hard to tell time. But I've got the bowl slab thing that I worked on. I got the little drape mold thing. It's a slump mold. It's called a slump mold because you put the clay in there and it just kind of slumps down into the mold. So anyway, it's stiffened. It's hardened up a little bit. I did take a little hairdryer to speed it along. It might work, it might not. But I'm gonna be ready to like start thinking about what's next in the form. I'm thinking I'm gonna want to do something like do a textural thing to it, decorate it a little bit, make it kind of interesting. Since clay is such a tactile medium, it's nice to have some texture to it. So I've got like some things that maybe you have lying around the house, maybe you don't. I got like some compass protractor thing. I've got seashells. I went outside and I picked some leaves off the ground and some leaves off of a rhododendron and some leaves off of a yeah, what do you call that leaf? What's that? Japanese maple. Yeah, you got it. You knew exactly what I was talking about. You're like, that's a Japanese maple. Yep. And I got some of the little seeds from the maple also. It's a Japanese maple, guys. Come on. We got the seeds to prove it. So I also found a rasp, which like maybe you have in the basement or a junk drawer or a tool drawer or the garage or like rotting outside in the woods. You could maybe have some stamps, some little rubber stamps with letters. You can stamp some stuff, so you can do that. You might even have a roller, which would be really cool to roll things over. But you might not. So in an ideal world, you could maybe take like, if I want to do like a little Japanese maple design, you could take the leaf. And this is kind of, it's wet enough that I can still move the clay around, but it still feels pretty firm. So I could put the leaf on and I could roll the leaf a little bit, which will leave the impression of a leaf on the clay surface. You have to time it right so that the clay is workable. Get a little bit of the stem in there. All right, how'd it do? Light. Maybe it would have been better to do this a little thicker or a little earlier. This leaf has some ribs in here. This is a cherry leaf from the cherry leaf that's in the courtyard. Let's try that one. But wait, you don't have this? All right, don't worry about it. We won't use it. What else can you do? You can use your fingers. The most primitive, accessible, and usable tool. And sometimes it can do things other things can't, and it's just better to use your hands. So I'm moving outwards from the leaf so it doesn't scrunch up, and I'm holding it on one side and always moving out from that point. Let's see how that does. That's a little better. It's a subtle texture. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's pretty subtle, but a little better than the maple, which really just showed up as the whatever, like those things. The middle part. What's that called? Biology? Something? Leaf? All right. Let's see. I can take some of this. Push that in there. That doesn't look super well. You can throw in here and you can find, I don't know. Flat shell's really fast. I'm not seeing any Something I'm particularly excited about. Maybe that one. Got a nice texture. This clay is kind of solid. Oh yeah, and you can push that pretty deep into the clay. So it might be easier to put a texture on at this point while there's some support underneath. Since this is curved, it's rocking back and forward nicely. And this is kind of like a square thing, so I can create a textured pattern. So it's kind of like a square pattern with a texture in it. And you can imagine something like that going around the entire surface of the bowl. Could be pretty cool. You may, so do that. There's also this box of miscellaneous things. I have a strainer. Let's see. What do you think? Meh. Yeah. Zipper. Ooh. You can take keys, you can take little matchbox cards, you can do you can find a whole bunch of stuff that you can use and put onto the clay, push into the clay, create a texture. The zipper's kind of cool. You can do a spiral, you can get it to move, wrap it, warp it, bop it, twist it, pull it, flick it, etc. What else we got? Got a butter knife. Do like a little, which helps to smooth. So if you don't have a rib, you could use a butter knife to smooth. And it also, if you use the one side, you can go right over and give a nice little kind of fuzzy, furry, groovy texture. I've used forks in the past to pretty cool ways. If you can get it round. You can create little spirals. I've decorated entire bowls like this, where I will just take it and just make lines every now and then. You do like a sunburst pattern with fork lines. Use your old Toyota car key. So you can add a lot of texture, find whatever you want, use it. Sorry, I feel like a child again. Cool. Hurts to make the noise. Gears, whatever you want, give it some texture. Cool. So that's how you do that. So you can play around with it and stretch and explore and all that. So the next one is coming off of the mold, and we'll see what the inside looks like.